Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. So I always find it fascinating when you hear how much someone makes versus how much money they spend. There was a few accounts even on Instagram that people will send in their budgets and how much they make, and someone will kind of dissect them, and I just think it's fascinating. So my team saw this video and they wanted to play it for me, and I was like, okay, I don't want to see it yet. Let's save it for an episode on The Rachel Cruze Show so I can give you my thoughts as I'm listening to someone that I don't know who this person is, but I think their money situation is very interesting. So this person is living in New York City. They are a CEO of a company, and they make about $180,000 a year. So we're going to look at, again, her income, her budget, how much she spends. And then we're going to break down what is right, what could she be doing better, what would you take away, what are good things that are coming from her money habits, maybe some not some good things. So I can't wait to see this video and walk through it with you guys. So we'll play it now.
I'm 31 years old. I am a CEO and founder of an influencer agency, and I also own multiple e-commerce businesses. Annually, I make anywhere between $150,000 and $180,000 a year.
It's a good income.
My apartment's about 1,500 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath located in the financial district in Manhattan.
It's a beautiful apartment.
My rent is $9,000 per month, and the utilities are about $400 a month. So my monthly payment is $4,400 per month. My fiance pays the other half.
Oh, wow. Okay, pause. So she's splitting the rent, but still, if my math's correct, I think that it's still a little bit over that 25%, which is probably going to be a factor sometimes in the most expensive places like California or New York or Florida. But still getting your rent or your mortgage in that 25-ish percentile of your monthly take-home pay is really important, that it's not like a ton of it, because you still want margin to save or pay off debt or invest, actually use your money for other things than just your living. But it's fascinating. Okay, keep going.
My fiance is very successful. One of the main ways we've been able to make our relationship work throughout the years is by remaining very financially independent from each other. We own completely separate businesses in different industries. We have separate checking accounts, even though I do really depend on him financially to be able to live in such a nice apartment in New York. I've always considered my living space a work of art.
Okay, so pause. So I'm curious for her, because I do agree with keeping everything separate while you're engaged and not to combine finances until you're married. But there's a little bit of me that thinks, so I don't want to project on her, that she probably will not combine once they get married. She was like, one way that our relationship works is we've stayed financially independent, which again, while you're dating or engaged, I would agree with. But hopefully once they get married, they combine finances. This is something we talk about on the show a lot. That is not the norm. And I feel like one thing that we go against the culture with this piece of advice, but it's so important, because when you are married, you are one in every aspect of your life. And when you still kind of run on these independent tracks, even with money, it starts to create these habits and this mindset that you still are this independent. Now, when you get married, of course, you don't lose your individual self, but still there's this merging of life that happens. And when you do that, there's just a level of trust and intimacy that is formed, even something as vulnerable as money. So I don't want to say that they won't combine after they get married, because she didn't say that. But from the way she phrased it, makes me think that they won't. So I would definitely still combine finances after you get married.
My house to me is very personal because I spend a lot of time here. I work here, I sleep here, I work long hours, so I very rarely leave. So it's really important for me to feel at home all the time. And part of that is really making this a very creative space for me. I spend a lot of time and money decorating and making it really feel like my space.
Okay, pause. So our homes, like she hit on, is so true. They are such an important part of our lives, and we want to feel good when we walk into our homes, that it feels like us and it feels warm and inviting and comfortable. But I think we can take that and go really far off with it, to the point that we go deep into debt to do that. We spend money we don't have. And sometimes our motivation is less about us and more about, okay, what are other people going to think when they see it? That can be a motivation that's unhealthy. So I agree with her that yes, you want your space to feel creative if you're a creative, right? You want to feel these certain things and emotions, and our homes can do that for us, but we just don't want to go crazy in order to do that. But so far, some of these prices, yeah, they don't look crazy. So she's doing good.
I typically wake up around 10.
That sounds
I
nice.
don't set an alarm for myself. I try to get 8 hours of sleep in. When I wake up in the morning, I check my phone right away. It's a habit that I'm trying to break, but I look at the sales that came in from the night before and I just scan through my emails to see if there's anything urgent that needs attention. From there, I go to the kitchen and I have my vanilla cold brew with oat milk. Every single morning, I look forward to it every day.
George Campbell would be so happy right now.
I have a dog. Her name is Penny. She's a 5-pound Yorkshire Terrier. She's 5 years old. I adopted her when I was living in San Diego, and she travels all over the world with me. She's really my best friend. I work from home, so my typical day after I have my coffee, I get on my computer and I stay there for about 10 hours. My blog provides lifestyle content, and viewers can purchase products that I recommend, but they can also purchase the products that I've also designed myself. I have a small team that I have to pay each month, which contributes to a large portion of my business expenditures. I currently pay for 3 websites. The hosting is $45 per website per month. I use various analytic programs to manage the campaigns that I'm working on for myself as well as other influencers, which can cost anywhere between $50 to $250 per month. The CRM system that I use costs $79 per month. My inventory of product and services costs about $6,000 per month. Most of the time when I leave the apartment, it's for a meeting, in which case I'm dressed up. So I often take a car, very rarely take the train, which ends up running me about $400 per month. I don't have a savings account. I don't save money traditionally. I would say I actually reinvest most of my income back into my business.
Okay, so that's interesting. She has no savings. She just uses her money to go back and reinvest into her business, which I can appreciate. I think reinvestment is a big part of growing your business, but no savings. I'm like, oh, and living in a really, high-priced area like New York City, I'm like, oh, man, wish you'd have some savings just to have as a pad for rainy day funds, but okay. Hey guys, do you want to know how to make your money go further when you're on the hunt for new styles? Then you've got to check out Jane.com. So Jane.com/Rachel, you can save 65% on clothes, accessories, home decor, and other fun finds. They bring you new deals from over 2,000 boutiques and designer brands every single day. So head over to Jane.com/Rachel if you're ready to refresh your style and to check out their latest deals while they last.
Photography is extremely important to my business. Everybody's online, and when they see your photos, it's a first impression. I spend about $900 per month on photography. I can save money by taking photos in my apartment by myself with a tripod. So I can probably save about $500 a month on extra hours that I don't need to pay a photographer for. I also save money on photography by editing my own photos. I spend about 5 hours a week retouching photos. When I was living bi-coastally, I was able to rent my apartment in San Diego, and all of a sudden the building changed policies and I was no longer able to do that. And it caused a really big financial burden for me. And also starting another business, within 6 months, I accumulated a large amount of debt. I have $30,000 in debt. I pay about $500 a month to pay down my debt. I don't have credit cards because I've been very irresponsible financially in the past with credit cards.
Okay, so her debt, so she has $30,000 and she's paying $500 a month towards it. And so that rate, she's still gonna have that debt for a long time. So if I were her, man, I would, get rid of some stuff if you can, put some money, redo the budget just for a short period of time and get that paid off because she makes a great income. So really it wouldn't take that long to become, completely debt-free. So it's interesting, her debt amount and having no savings, so fascinating.
Last year, we collectively paid $1,400 per month. My monthly subscriptions are Hulu, Netflix, HBO, Showtime, Amazon Music, Amazon Prime, iTunes Music. I have a subscription to Keep Candles, where I get a candle each month. I spend about $300 per week on groceries, and that's because I buy for both my fiance and I. Between takeout and going out to dinner, I personally spend about $300 to $400 per week. My biggest financial weakness is shoes. I spend anywhere from $500 to $900 on shoes. I really try to keep it under $1,000.
Oh, wow.
That's my limit.
So under $1,000, yeah, you can buy some Louboutins. Yeah, she can buy some nice shoes that I love. She was like, I won't spend more than $1,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of money per month. That, if you think about it, throwing those extra thousands towards her debt, she could get paid off so much faster. And I get that it's her weakness. I appreciate that. But, oh man, that's a lot of money. Okay.
My biggest cost for Penny is travel. When we travel, we have to go to the vet, which is $120 to see her doctor and get a wellness check. Then we have to get an approval by the USDA, which is $140. I travel a lot, but it's never consistent. There are times of year where I don't even get on a plane for 3 or 4 months, and then there's a period of 3 months where I'm basically gone the entire time. So the amount that I spend per month is very different, but per trip, I can spend anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 on a trip. Over the past year, I've been to 6 countries and I've probably traveled about 15 times. From struggling in my 20s financially to overspending in my 30s, I've always had an issue with cash flow. It's been a very feast or famine type of style of spending, and that also is because my businesses fluctuate and, of course, my paycheck is never regular. I think it's really important that women pursue their dreams and create lives and businesses that they're proud of. I don't want someone to look at me and wonder, how does she do it? Because it's crazy, and sometimes I don't even know if I can do it, and sometimes I want to quit. But as long as I keep working and I focus on my goals and keep moving forward, I know that I can continue with my success.
Okay, so what's so interesting, now that I know all the information of her numbers, here's one thing I like about her. She feels very, she's appreciating her success. Like, she's worked really hard. She does great. She makes $180 a year, which is awesome. And I feel like she enjoys it, right? So like that's a good part. Okay, what I would do different is I would encourage her to have some savings. So again, you never know what's gonna happen in life. You never know. And what if something happens, right? What if another pandemic hits New York and her business just like tanks, or whatever the thing is, and you need some backup, you need that safety net between you and life, just in case. It's like insurance, just in case something happens. So I would definitely encourage her to have some savings. Start off with $1,000, like we talk about, maybe step one. And then if I were her, maybe she makes $180 and she has $30,000 in debt. If she just lived like she made $150, like for just 1 year, she probably wouldn't have to cut her lifestyle even that much. But man, just shrinking that down, like not buying shoes for a few months, like things like that she really could do, and throw some cash at that debt and have no debt, which for her is a big risky part of her financial picture right now. With no savings and debt, she's having to make these payments. And when you don't have income coming in, if that ever happens, it's like, oh man, like how do you pay all these bills? So I would definitely recommend doing that if I were her. So getting a savings account, having savings in the bank, paying off that debt, and then even bumping up that savings to 3 to 6 months of expenses after her debt's paid. So if I were her, that's what I would say. And then I would tell her, I'd really encourage her to budget and to say, hey, put dollar amounts next to each of these categories that you spend money on, because I think there's just some like fat that could be trimmed off, if you will. Like, you could look at the budget and be like, oh, we could lower that and that and that and do this and get some extra margin to either save or pay off debt. So I want to know, what do you think? Leave some of the comments of your takeaways. Is there anything that she did that you disagree with? Anything in there that you think is great and you want to practice in your own life? I love how much she travels. I'm like, if she has the money for it, I think it's an amazing experience, and I love a good experience. I love that. All right, share this video with a friend who you know loves budgeting and loves learning how other people spend their money and what they can learn, all of it. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.